So recently, guys, a ton of Elseworlds promo pictures have been released, and they're really high quality and show photos such as the Monitor, Barry Allen as the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen as the Flash, and tons more, including Batwoman. And TV Insider has learned a load of things that we didn't even know about this upcoming crossover, so let's go over all of these new details, and you guys won't want to miss this one. How's it going, species, vigilantes, superflies, everything in the Arrowverse? This is an Elseworlds crossover update. As I just mentioned, loads of new pictures, loads of new details about the crossover, things that we definitely didn't know before thanks to TV Insider. So before we get into this, guys, and dive straight into the specific details, subscribe to this channel for more Arrowverse updates just like this. And if you go on to enjoy this video, it'd really help me out if you click that like button. So the first notable thing in the TV Insider article is that Mark Guggenheim, who is spearheading the three-parter, confirms it will have a long-lasting impact. This lays the groundwork for next year's crossover, he says. Now, does this mean what quite a few people are thinking, and even thought that this could be an early 2024 event, but it's most likely not going to be? But the fact that the Monitor is getting involved and everything like that, does this mean, in terms of what Mark Guggenheim is saying and how it sets up next year's crossover event and how it has a long-lasting impact, does that mean next year they're actually going to maybe do a Crisis actual crossover? Instead of it being 2024, they somehow bring it back to present day? As I briefly mentioned, this has already been a popular theory amongst fans, some even saying, is this going to somehow involve a little kind of Crisis event? But obviously this is just setting up that whole Crisis event because the Monitor is in this. They're even introducing characters such as Psycho Pirate and everything like that, so I think it's going to be pushed back till next year instead of actually waiting to 2024, but I would love to know what you guys think there. Now, if there's one thing that we already knew, even from little teaser trailers that they've been releasing, is that Oliver wakes up in Iris and Barry's loft, and he's completely complex as to why he's there, and we have the same with Barry training with Diggle and Argus as the Green Arrow. TV Insider says that after the men realize that even their own teams don't believe their claims, they need to find their way to another Earth and see if someone else recognizes them as Oliver and Barry, and not vice versa. Off to Kara's world. Now, this does actually make a ton of sense in terms of how we're going to go to Earth 38 in this crossover. I know some people are misinterpreting this as the whole crossover is being set on Earth 38 and that this means Batwoman is on Earth 38. I really don't think that is the case. But as you can see from the images or the new promo photos that we got for the Elseworlds crossover on screen right now, we can see Barry talking to Iris in S.T.A.R Labs, and we see Oliver Queen there. Now, after what we've learned from this article, they're probably just going to be trying to persuade them. Team Flash is going to be hearing them out, and there's going to be absolutely no luck because Iris is probably going to be like, no, but you're my Barry. Maybe they will come around eventually, but the article did point out that even their own teams don't believe their claims. I think it's going to be super funny to see what Caitlin and Cisco and everyone else thinks. I think we can even see a side of Sherlock Wells there. So I guess everyone else thinks that Oliver for the Flash this season has just been, you know, well, Oliver Queen or they're Barry. This is where it gets kind of confusing. In terms of Supergirl on Earth 38, TV Insider go on to say that on Earth 38, home of Benoist Supergirl, their Kryptonian buddy gets to work on figuring out how to undo the swap. She's the only one who sees them as they see themselves. Now, it's going to be super interesting to see how Kara is going to come up with a way to fix Oliver and Barry and get them back to their proper identities, but I think this is going to mix in with that Supergirl teaser we got as well, where she was even in the pipeline, I think. And this is all going to probably do with that black-suited Superman who gets introduced in this crossover as well, because we know he's reading out of that Speed Force symbol book that also the Monitor is carrying. But either way, I definitely think that these realities being rewritten have something to do with that book. But we do actually learn who may or may not be responsible for this reality being written already, but I'll get onto that in a second. Now, in terms of the Superman photos you're seeing on screen right now, TV Insider goes on to say, of course, this cuts into her family time. Tyler Hoechlin reprises his role as Superman, and he's bringing Elizabeth Tulloch along as Lois Lane. It was so fun to add that portion of Clark Kent's life to the story and see another side of him, adding that the iconic pair's very strong relationship gets the thumbs up from Clark's cousin Kara. Now, for a little while, ever since we got some photos or behind the scenes photos of the Kent farm, we knew somehow that this was going to Smallville. Now, right here we see Oliver and Barry. They're still dressed as, you know, like Oliver is dressed as Barry and Barry is dressed as Oliver. So at this point of the crossover, they still haven't figured out how exactly to fix themselves, I'm guessing, since they haven't, and they've gone to Clark, I'm guessing, for some way to kind of fix that. Maybe he might know one way of fixing this or helping fix this. this. But in this photo as well, we see that Cisco is there. So maybe Cisco goes along to Earth 38 with Barry and Oliver, even though he doesn't see them probably for who they are. But maybe he does because of his vibe powers. Maybe he can vibe like the previous universe, or like, well, it's still the same universe, but the previous reality that wasn't rewritten, so they were their original identities. Maybe his vibe powers let him tap into that, and he can actually see how it's been manipulated by a certain someone. But talking about destinies being rewritten and who could have possibly done that, well, we've got the introduction of the Monitor. Now, this is very interesting what TV Insider has to say about LaMonica Garrett, who is debuting as the Monitor in the Arrowverse. We'll also meet legendary DC Comics entity, the Monitor, an alien tasked with overseeing the multiverse, who Guggenheim hints may have a hand in the Barry-Oliver anachronism. He sets in motion the events of the crossover, but I wouldn't call him directly responsible. While the producer admits the Monitor exists beyond good and evil, the cosmic being will cause problems. He might also be involved in an Earth-changing move that brings back the Flash's John Wesley Shipp, but not as Barry's late father. Instead, Shipp will suit up as the speedster Barry Allen he played on CBS's original The Flash back in 1990. So this is pretty crazy. I think a lot of people were originally thinking that Dr. Destiny was the main person of this crossover to potentially screw up all of these realities, or maybe this was potentially a dream sequence. But right here, from the words of Mark Guggenheim, even though he's not directly responsible, it says here as plain as day that the Monitor may have had a hand in the Barry-Oliver anachronism. So I'm wondering, even though like the Monitor is like above, like beyond good and evil, so he doesn't really lie in between the two, and he is going to cause problems. Maybe he caused this problem with Barry and Oliver for a specific reason. Maybe he thought somehow it would help. You could like take a ton of theories off of this, so I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. Even though Guggenheim said that he's not directly responsible, who do you think is? Is that mainly Dr. Destiny trying to like muddle with all of this, and that is why they head to Arkham Asylum eventually in this crossover? I believe in the Arrow episode where we obviously get introduced to Batwoman. It's just intriguing to me because in the promo photo for the Monitor, like the main poster for him, we see him holding this book of freaking destiny. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like the book of realities or something in the multiverse. I have no idea, but I'm certain it's in the realms of that. But we also see this book in behind the scenes pictures and multiple different pictures in the hands of other people, like the black suited Superman, who we know is going to be up to no good in this crossover. So I'm wondering if whoever has a hold of that book has the potential to rewrite certain things in the multiverse, and maybe somehow Dr. Destiny got a hold of that. Maybe he gave it to black suited Superman. Maybe Dr. Destiny is muddled with a lot of different things, which is causing different various villains. But apparently there is no overarching enemy in this crossover as well. And you may be asking, wait, what? I thought Dr. Destiny was the overarching nemesis. And I believe that was reported as actually the fact way back when. But maybe when Jeremy Davies got cast as Dr. Destiny, people or the reporters thought that he would be the big bad, and he probably is quite responsible for a few things. But TV insiders say this: while there's no overarching nemesis, there are some not so friendly faces. Jeremy Davies drops in as the mad Dr. John Deegan at Gotham's Arkham Asylum, which also houses Psycho Pirate, a DC Comics heel known to wreak havoc for the Flash. Cassandra Jean Amell is showing up as Nora Freeze, or Fries, whatever way you want to pronounce that, so it's likely we'll at least hear about her horrible hubby, Mr. Freeze. But perhaps the most mind-blowing villain is a black-clad version of Superman from a dark corner of the multiverse, set to throw down with anyone in his path. There's a lot of fighting, says Hecklin. I mean, I fight myself, I fight everybody. So we were just talking about that black-suited Superman, and it says that he's from a dark corner of the multiverse. So I don't know how or what is specifically going on here, but I think something has happened to that Destiny rewritten multiverse book. Maybe got out of hands from the Monitor himself, and we know the dark suited Superman gets a hold of it, and we know he's going to be causing a bit of trouble, even fighting Earth 38 Superman, our Superman. So I can't wait to see exactly what is going on with this. And let me know what you think of there being no overarching nemesis. So we all thought that was originally going to be Dr. Deegan in Arkham Asylum, and there are a few Arkham Asylum photos that you've probably already seen on screen. We even see Diggle here, who seems to have beaten up a lot of Arkham inmates. And then obviously we've got this kick-ass absolutely kick-ass picture of Batwoman outside Arkham Asylum itself. Now, in terms of these promo photos that you're seeing on screen, where we see Cisco with a load of cash, but also Barry and Oliver as the Trigger Twins. Does this mean beyond Oliver and Barry just being a speedster and the Green Arrow, do they become the Trigger Twins as well? Or do they still have the swapped powers whilst they're posing as the Trigger Twins maybe? But either way, it just makes me think there's multiple Elseworlds stories, self-contained potentially, but also linked at the same time, going on in this crossover. Maybe when they fix their speed or something, they then do a little mini segment where Cisco is this crime boss or something, and Oliver and Barry are the Trigger Twins, and then they get out of that. They might go through a couple of hoops that they need to jump through before they actually end up fixing this potentially. Maybe this is a result of consistent tampering with that book throughout this crossover, because we do see Cisco on Earth 38 outside the Kent farm with everyone else, so you can assume that he jumped through the portal with the Barry and Oliver claiming to be each other's identities, and nobody seems to believe them, so he jumps along with them. And this is how Cisco somehow gets wrapped up in another Elseworld story as well, where he is different, because this guy definitely doesn't look like the Cisco who left Earth 1 to go to Earth 38 with Barry and Oliver. It looks like Oliver and Barry here are reporting to their crime boss or something like that, Cisco Ramon, as the Trigger Twins. Either way, guys, these crossover photos are amazing. They're such high quality and they tease such exciting things to come. Now, we've seen the Monitor before in this official promo poster, but I love the detail in this particular photo. We can see all those engravings on his neck guard there. We see Dr. John Deegan here, and this is probably his Arkham office. Now, he's been reported more madder than his patients, if you will. So you can see a lot of stuff in the background that it looks like he's been experimenting upon. I just really can't wait to see what they do, and if they give a more of a comic book accurate look to John Deegan here as that more Dr. Destiny look, because that would be kind of weird to do, but in that comic book cover of the Elseworlds crossover, which I'm sure some of you may have seen already, but you can see Dr. Destiny down there with a bit more of a crazy Dr. Destiny look on his face, rather than the very real life picture of Jeremy Davies here, who's playing Dr. Destiny. So I can't wait for all of this to go down December 9th. What is your favorite one? And most importantly, let me know what you think the heck is going on in this Elseworlds crossover with everything that we learned from TV Insider. What do you think this is setting up for the next year's crossover? Do you think that they're bringing the 2024 Crisis event a few years earlier? And as Mark Guggenheim teased, while the Monitor isn't directly responsible for the whole hiccup with what's going on in Elseworlds, he may be responsible for the anachronism that Barry and Oliver are experiencing with their identities being swapped. So why would he have done that? Anyway, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this little dose of information from the crossover. If you did, please leave a like on this video, as it really does show your support for the channel. Of course, subscribe for more Arrowverse videos just like this. Links, as always, are in the description down below to my social media, Twitter, Discord, and everything like that. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, vigilantes, speedsters, and everything else in the next video. Goodbye.